Your first contestant is Jack McMinn. Jack McMinn, who is a... No. At the end. Oh my God, you've got to incentivize people, don't you? Or they just go wild. He's a 22-year-old post-grad student studying zoology at the University of Cambridge, specifically molar morphometry of African mammals. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, you know, it's well-funded.
It's well-funded. Please hold your jokes until you're being judged, Jack. He's a member of the Cambridge Impronauts. Well, that's pretty obvious now. And enjoys watching nature documentaries and playing piano divided by sax. Sorry, piano/sax.
They didn't say...
Put your hands together for Jack McMinn!
Thank you. Okay, so as the nice man over there said, I'm Jack McMinn, and this is my talk, The Importance of Localized Acinonyx jubatus ignition to African Ecology and Predator-Prey Dynamics. That's very straightforward, I know, so let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so the mixture of forest and grassland that you see on the African savanna is largely maintained by bushfires, and experts say that these are generally started by lightning strikes or increased human activity. But given the nature of the BAHFest, I'm here to propose a new hypothesis, as we can see from this simulation, or perhaps chart, graph, or figure. So as we can see here, my hypothesis is that bushfires are caused by cheetahs running into trees and exploding in a horrific cheetah-sidal ball of flame. So my first question when constructing this hypothesis is it possible? And if we compare the kinetic energies of a sprinting cheetah to the minimum ignition energy of wood, we can see that statistically speaking, it's a probabilistic given that if a cheetah runs into a tree, it's going to explode. And I don't think we need to ask any further questions about that. My next question was, how often must this happen for cheetahs exploding into trees to be the sole cause of bushfires in the African savanna? So to do this, I put on my thinking cap, and I calculated the area of the African savanna that'd be made up of tree. So if the cheetahs were moving randomly, where would they intersect? Integrated the number of bushfires, number of cheetahs, and I ultimately arrived at the figure that if African cheetahs steering into trees is the sole cause of bushfires, that every single cheetah will need to run about twice a minute for 24 hours of every single day. So a cheetah's daily output of randomly running at top speed throughout the African savanna would look something like this. Only 383 times more. Now, naturally, I'm going to be the first to admit this is very unlikely, but I think that this is due to an issue with our model, that the cheetahs are moving randomly. What if someone or something is steering them into the trees on purpose? Ladies, gentlemen, and other... So why would an innocent gazelle want to steer cheetahs into trees? Well, first of all, there's the whole predator-prey thing. Just as, you know, there's coevolution between top speed and weaponry, just that there may be coevolution between not wanting to run into a tree and exploding and wanting your predator to run into a tree and explode. It makes sense. The second aspect of it is more based on forestry. So the cheetahs exploding against the trees clears more room for grazing, means there's less room for predators to sneak up on you. Generally, it's a good idea for gazelles to steer cheetahs into trees. So what direct evidence do we have that this happens? Well, we've got another simulation /graph/figure, you know, yeah, that thing. The Thomson's gazelle is 89% of a cheetah's diet, and they exhibit this behavior called stotting, where they jump straight up and down on the spot, much like this. And this is generally considered by experts to be an honest signal of fitness. So it's literally a gazelle saying to a cheetah, don't hunt me, I'm really strong, I can do this all day. But as you can see from the simulation, look at... Oh, the humanity. The second piece of evidence that I have is during the Pleistocene, when there was, these ice ages and there was this expansion of the savanna habitat as a result, we see this genetic bottleneck in cheetah populations that no doubt represents a population decrease as a result of gazelles evolving this cheetah steering behavior. So as we'll follow along here, ice ages cause savanna, and oh no, oh look at, they're all dead. Now, let's talk about conservation, because cheetahs are listed as a vulnerable species, so we need to combat cheetah steering in some way. So we need, my first proposition is some large-scale engineering initiatives in the African savanna to ensure that when cheetahs run into trees, they don't die. So perhaps a large cat flap. Or investing in holograms and making large hologrammatic trees. The upshot of which is that nothing happens. Obviously, though, I'm aware that this is very expensive, so it might be easier just to knock down all of the trees in the African savanna. Now, I know this is a controversial opinion, given insects, reptiles, all these other types of animals rely on the trees, but environmentalism is really based about compromise these days, and I think that you and I will all agree that cheetahs are far cuter than any tree I've ever seen. So, in short, save the cheetah, destroy all the trees in Africa. Thank you.
Any questions?
So, you posit that chopping down all the trees would be the best solution to the problem. Why have you gone for that option rather than the possibly simpler one of just simply shooting all the gazelles?
Well, great question. But also the issue is that if we head back, the issue is that gazelles are kind of cute too. I mean, if you're telling me you can take a gun and put it to this animal's face, then, be my guest. We're all judging you here. I mean, you're judging, and it doesn't matter.
The word cheetah, I mean, it has a double meaning, isn't it? I mean, is that in any way related to this phenomenon?
The fact that they're cheating,
You said it.
I did. I said it because it's the name of the name of the animal. I mean, potentially, I don't know the etymology of the word cheetah, but if there's anything involved cheating in terms of running into trees, like, are they cheating in a way? Are we cheating? Who's the cheetah here? Maybe we're the cheetah, guys. Let's think about that.
So obviously this is a very complex predator-prey dynamic that's going on here. Do you think that ethically we have the right to chop down all the trees, to involve ourselves in that?
I don't think that stopped us before.
I'm afraid you walked straight into that one.
I very much did.
So, some of the questions I was thinking about have been asked already, but have you asked the gazelles what they think? Well,
I have done. Unfortunately, the language barrier is it's really holding back, especially because, as you can see here from my nice little thing, the gazelles are actually megalomaniacs. So really, I'm not sure if I want to speak to the gazelles. I'm just happy to let them be.